All right, so I think I got the sound working, but now my video doesn't work. Give me a second here. Okay, I guess I have sound now, but still no video, no camera. That's okay, because I still have desktop, so I will be able to go through that. You just won't be able to see me, and that's fine. What is going on, Savages? Hope you are doing well. Like I was trying to say earlier, but you guys weren't hearing me. Let's just kick back, relax, have a drink, and talk some crypto. I do have a lot of stuff to cover. Mainly about one specific project that's working on some stuff, and we'll see what we get to, but I've got a few topics that I wanted to go over and a little bit of new stuff, so let's get after it. All right, so let me check the chat, make sure that someone is in here. Jason, Crypto Jason, can you let me know if it's working now, sound and everything? Let me know. Yeah, the camera is not working. I think what is going on is I think it's actually like a resource problem where I have a lot of windows open right now in Brave browser, and I think that is probably the problem. It's just not. I probably need to restart. You know, I was doing a lot of stuff right before the stream, so yeah, so the camera is just not going to work. It's going to look like that, so that's okay. It doesn't matter. You don't need to see me. I can just talk. So welcome to the SavageMine YouTube channel. If this is your first time here and you want to learn more about crypto mining and crypto related projects, you can get an almost daily dose of it just by clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell right now so you don't miss out on anything. I know I haven't been doing a lot of videos lately. You know, things have just gotten in the way, and you know, the market's not great and mining's not great, and there's just it's a little bit of a downer, but I'm gonna keep plugging away, and you know, as long as you guys keep showing up, I will keep doing this. So also follow me on Twitter as well. It's been pretty quiet over there lately. It's usually either like a madhouse and a troll fest, or it's suspiciously boring, and it's been really boring over there. But I do keep you updated on what's going on with this YouTube channel, and sometimes I run polls to help decide what we'll be looking at on the live stream, so your interaction helps determine what we might be covering that night. Let's take a quick look at what I am actually mining right now. I am on the NVIDIA rig that is on. I am actually mining AION, and I have been for I think a day and a half now, something like that, just plugging away at that a little bit just to get it going. My rigs were off for like a week while I was doing the upgrading in my studio or office or man cave, whatever you want to call it here, painting and hanging TVs and doing the wall, all that stuff. So there wasn't a whole lot of time for me to worry about mining and you know, keeping the rigs on and stuff like that. And plus, they were just in the way. So they were off for a while, but now this one is back on. I don't know what I'll do, if I'll turn the other one back on as well, because I have power problems in this particular room. I need to run some power and stuff like that, and I'm gonna get to it. But my list of things to do is pretty long as it is right now. So anyway. All right, so the AMD rig is off at this point, the one that's in my office here. And then on the shared rigs, they are still mining CCX, Conceal.Network, and have been for quite some time, since March, nonstop. So we're just plugging away at that. And this is on Simple Mining OS. and no problems there. And I believe that I had a problem where this rig right here, the bottom rig, Mustafar, the hash rate display right here would go to where it was 0K per second, but it was like a false negative, I guess, because it was still hashing fine. If I checked it on the pool, everything was fine, but I recently upgraded the version of Simple Mining on that particular rig, and ever since then it seems to be working pretty well and not doing that weird indication there. So it's staying pretty consistent there, which I like to see. And just a quick reminder, I am not sponsored in any way. If I was, I would have to tell you anyway, so I have to keep throwing that out there. Let's get into a little bit. This is going to be a little bit of a departure for me because I don't normally do news type stuff, but I wanted to cover some things. There were a lot of stuff that went on today, actually, in news with security. You had BitMEX. I think they simultaneously had their Twitter hacked, and they had what appeared to be an employee or some type of automated process that didn't use the blind carbon copy feature of email in a newsletter or some kind of response that they were sending to all of the BitMEX users, and they basically copied all of the they allowed all of their email addresses of all their users to be seen in correspondence going back to those users. So if you were in receipt of an email from BitMEX, you got to see every other email. I believe that's the way it worked. I don't know if it was broken out there. You know, I'm not on BitMEX, so I don't know what I got some screenshots of what the actual email looked like and stuff, but I don't know if it was. I want to say someone said it was about 1,000 per user or something like that per email. I don't know how that would work. It would seem like you would get all of them, but I don't know. And there's people analyzing it and stuff like that. So that's interesting, you know. But it also goes into what I want to kind of talk about tonight, and that's security. So there was a lot of us use Discord, and this is not a brand new story. It's a couple of days old. But or a few days old, a week old. Discord, a lot of us use Discord for communicating, especially in the crypto world, gaming world, and all that stuff. It's pretty popular. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of this particular problem, or this malicious software that was basically stealing. It was like a backdoor malicious software that stole information. And I'm going to show you how to check to see if you were affected by it. But in short, it was some malicious software that could get installed and basically turn your Discord into a information giving source for the attacker, right? And you can see right here that the information that's collected and sent to the attacker includes the following things. Discord user token, the time zone, screen resolution, some other things that are pretty important, IP addresses and things like that. But this right here is, in my opinion, probably the most important part of this malicious software intent for crypto mining folks and crypto folks, because I do see that it's only the first 50 characters, but oftentimes we are copying and pasting things like private keys, addresses, all kinds of other data that we are trying to save in a secure manner. And this would actually, this could be a problem, right? Because if your private key, most private keys I think are more than 50 characters, but it's a huge part. It's not so malicious because it's the first 50 characters. If this was like 256 characters or something like that, it would be even worse, because they could get a whole private key or a whole, address or whatever. And so this was the part that really concerned me the most. And I've talked about this on the channel before, where there are malicious software that can grab information off your clipboard. So whenever we were doing videos of copying and pasting things. You know, whenever you copy like that, that puts it on your clipboard, your Windows clipboard, and that is what this is saying it can grab. So it's very, I don't know if the intent of this particular malicious software was to grab information like that, because it seems like if it was, that they would make this, the number of characters, so much more than that if they were really out to get crypto folks. But I just wanted to point that out, that it is, that's a huge vulnerability there, and just to be really super careful. But it goes over here how to check if you are infected. I checked mine a little bit earlier and it seemed fine to me, but this is how you do it. Basically, fire up Windows Explorer if you're on Windows 10 anyway. Let's see here. And you have to get to your app data folder. Let me just navigate to there a little bit so I'm not giving away too much information here. Let's see, so we go to, you might not have, like you can see that app data is actually a hidden folder. It's kind of grayed out a little bit. And the way that you get your hidden folders to show up is you go to properties, view, and then options, and then change folder and search options. And then in here you go to view, and then you go to show hidden files, folders, and drives, because by default it'll look like this. Don't show hidden files, folders, or drives. Now, if you want to be really careful, if you have multiple people using your computer as the same user, then I would definitely leave this as don't show. But just know that you have to then navigate a different way, or you have to know the actual variable to get to the app data folder. So I leave it like this because I'm the only one that uses this computer, so I'm good there. And that's how you get to app data. If you don't do that, you can type in app data. You can type in %app data up here like that, and then press enter, and it will get you to the same folder. It'll get you to this folder right here. Okay, so then inside of here, I think it was roaming. They don't really say that in the instructions because they basically tell you to use that variable there. Let's go over here to, where else you got to go? You got to go to Discord. So it's roaming and then Discord, but it's not going to say roaming here. But that is where you want to go. Roaming, Discord, and then the version. So Discord, and then the version that you have, and then modules. And then the first one, it's only 2 places. It's real easy. But the first one is Discord modules and then index.js. So you come over here and you go to Discord modules. And then this file right here, index.js. If you right click on it, you can choose, if you don't have Notepad+, I think you can just choose edit. And it'll open in Notepad, right, typically. And it'll look like this if you're not infected with that malicious software. It'll be one line, it'll just have this information in there, and that's it. If you were infected, it would look like this. So just keep that in mind. If you have more than one line in here like this, then that means that you're probably affected by this this malicious software. The other location you want to check is Discord Desktop Core. If we go back over here, modules, Discord Desktop Core, and then right click and then edit. And then you're going to see one line here. And same thing, if it's more than one line and all that nonsense in there, then you're probably affected in some way. Now I think that Discord has cleaned this up since, I don't know for sure, but this is about a week old, so I would assume that there has been some level of cleanup. They talked about down here how Discord could protect you from this malicious software, and you know, they give basically an example of how to do it down here. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if they have implemented that or not, but and I don't even remember seeing anything. I'm not in Discord that much, but I don't remember seeing anything about this particular software or malicious software in Discord. You know, you would think maybe they would give some kind of a notice, and maybe they did and I just missed it, but I'm not in Discord that much. So I just want to point that out. you know, we talked about the whole copying the clipboard data thing before, and how, you know, if you want to implement an extreme amount of privacy and security of your private keys, then don't copy them that way. Don't copy them to the Windows clipboard, because you can acquire that data, you know, through malicious means. So just keep that in mind. Let me check the chat, see what is going on over here. What is up, everybody? There's a few people in here. What's up, Shuby? What's up, Jason? Crypto Mikhail, what's going on, man? What's up, Bitcoin Jake? What am I being blamed on here? Oh, CCX, yeah. It's all my fault. It is my fault. I don't know why, but yeah, I see that too. You know, I was mining a lot a day, and then all of a sudden, yeah, it's down quite a bit as far as the amount of rewards. It's all my fault. Got too many miners involved, I guess. Maybe. All right, so speaking of CCX, that is kind of what I was going to cover tonight. A little bit more about what's going on with them. And, you know, it's one of those things, I wish that my camera worked. I wish my camera worked, because I like to, you know, rant a little bit from time to time. So, you know, one of the things that I've talked about this before, especially with smaller projects, you know, a lot of times they go dark, they go quiet, they go silent, you know, where at some point you see them, they're very active on social media, they're very active in Discord, and then all of a sudden it's like they just disappear. And oftentimes that is because they are busy. You know, anytime that you have a small team, a handful of developers, or even less, a lot of these projects, many of the projects that I'm looking at have one or two real developers, and then there's a few that contribute, you know, when they need them to, and stuff like that. So, you know, whenever you're dealing with a super small team, then whenever it's time to start building and actually doing stuff, it consumes all their time, right? So you see this, and it goes in cycles. You know, CCX, Conceal, recently went through consensus, where they asked the community for input and voting on things. And one of the things that they voted on was messaging. And so CCX has been working on that. The Conceal devs have been working on messaging. And you can see right here, and you might be thinking, okay, and I talked about this in my last messaging. I think I did a LOKI Messenger video, and I talked about this a little bit, because I ain't gonna lie, whenever I first got into LOKI, whenever I first heard, I watched their announcement that they made last year. It was in the summer, I think. They were in Australia, and they were talking about, and it was basically their video of their project announcement and release, you know, however you want to call it. And one of the main highlights of the speech, or the presentation there, was the messenger. And even back then I was thinking, messenger? Like, don't we already have all that, you know? And it didn't dawn on me the importance of it. And, you know, you might be thinking the same thing, like, why do we need another messenger? Don't we have Telegram? Don't we have Signal? Don't we have all these encrypted things? Well, there is you know, a problem with pretty much every one of those projects, or those messengers. And it comes down to, you know, censorship and centralization of the project itself. So it's a fair question to ask, but if you start thinking of a messenger on blockchain, then it should change your view a little bit, because it's important, you know, for freedom of speech and being able to communicate without, it would be impunity, or with impunity, right? So those things are important, you know. And for us in the U.S., we look at things like this in the same through the same glasses that we look at a lot of things in the world, where, you know, we here for the most part, no one really in America is poor, right? And what I mean is, even the poorest people have running water. They have electricity, right? Even the poorest, right? and most of them have cell phones, and oftentimes those are smartphones, and it's just a fact. It's just reality. So in America, we get up, we go to work, we come home, all this stuff, and we don't have to worry about so much. We don't have to worry about the government interfering with our communications, right? But there are countries where it is not quite like that. And, and it's one of the reasons along those same lines, and I've talked about this before too, along those same lines, it's one of the reasons that crypto has a little bit of an adoption problem in the US, because we don't need it. All of our banking is already digital. If you were to try to go, I challenge you, if you had a lot of money, I'll say a lot, meaning, this is going to probably make people laugh, but let's just say that you had over $100,000 in the bank, and you could not go to, I would almost bet almost anything you want that you couldn't go to your bank tomorrow morning and walk out of there with $100,000 in cash. It's just not going to happen. It won't, and that, I know that's kind of a weird example, but it's true. And most of our, like I was saying, most of our money is digital anyway, right? It's all just ones and zeros. It's on your phone, it's on your computer, and you're accessing your bank account, and it's just numbers. So for crypto adoption in the US, it's just not really that important. But you look at Venezuela and Zimbabwe and those places like that, where there's upheaval in the government, and I'm really going off on a rant here, but those places like that could really benefit from a cryptocurrency. So anyway, all right, let me get back on track. So that is one of the big deals with cryptographic messengers, right? And let's see here, where was I? So it's just a way to take back our privacy and communicate freely. Why should we trust anyone to protect our freedom of speech and expression? What if we were actually silenced by our government, right? And like I was just saying, you might not think that could happen, but it happens all the time. And even in a large country like Russia, it wasn't that long ago. Well, this was from 2018, but it has happened in some of the smaller countries over there more recently, where there was, bans to certain, they control their borders, internet through their borders. So they can block, certain applications, they can block websites, all that stuff. It's not quite as free flowing as in the US in some cases. So in Russia, they banned Telegram. It was a big deal. You can see that here. And these hacks on messengers, our messengers can be hacked as well. And sometimes it's even by the state, state backed. It happens, there's data that gets, what's the word? I want to say aggregated, but that's not the right word. Mined, like data mined, right? And, this happens a lot. And large countries are, not immune from that kind of thing happening. And any centralized system is susceptible to hacking, banning, or these outages. And most centralized systems do not care about your privacy at all. Facebook being one of them, definitely not caring so much about your privacy. And we saw that even today with the BitMEX leak, or not the leak, but the email situation. That's pretty huge. That is basically a lot of those email addresses. Now, some of it can be faulted on the users, because let me take that back. It's not the user's fault that their email address got leaked. What I mean is that the users should have a little bit more OPSEC and operational security, and not use, and I'm guilty of this too, don't get me wrong. I'm guilty of using an email address that basically has my name in it. And that is, that, you know, a lot of times you default to things like that because of simplicity and convenience, right? But like we've talked about before, you know, security and convenience and privacy and convenience are kind of inversely proportional. So, but again, I'm guilty of it too. So there's some not fault, but some responsibility lies on the users that signed up with Gmail accounts or, you know, non-encrypted type email accounts. I think there were even Yahoo accounts on there, something. There's folks doing all kinds of analysis on that right now. But there were very few Proton Mail email addresses. And I think it was like 4% or something like that were Proton Mail. And Proton Mail is an encrypted email, works really well for, you know, things like that whenever you want to stay private. There's a lot of privacy and security features built into Proton Mail. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I'm just saying the truth here. And you probably should, for every, I would say somewhat of a high level of OPSEC would be to use a different email address. And again, I'm guilty of this myself, but use a different email address for each account that you create. You know, like especially an exchange account or anything that's dealing with like money. Now, I'm not talking about your Amazon account, even though, you know, that one should be secured as well. But, you know, all those other accounts, you know, with department stores or whatever, okay, whatever, you know, you use whatever. But whenever you're dealing with your money, with your funds, with your crypto, I would say that it would be far better to use an email address, a different email address for each exchange or each website, whatever, you know, crypto related website that you sign up for, use a different email address. And again, this goes back to security, privacy, and convenience being inversely proportional. So it's going to make things more difficult, but that's the point, right? So you have to weigh all these things. Anyway, all right, so Naomi Brockwell, she's been doing these security videos recently, and I think a lot of it stems from her reading Edward Snowden's book, Permanent Record. And one of the things that she says I think is awesome. I don't know which video it was that she said this in, and it could be from Snowden's book because it kind of sounds like something he would say. But in her video, she says, if you aren't, and this might be something that is out there already that people have heard, but I just love it. I think it's the greatest thing ever. She said, if you aren't paying for the product, you are the product. And that is, it like rings so true whenever you think about Twitter and Facebook. You know, that is some profound shit right there, and I'll never forget that particular phrase, you know. But again, it might have been something that Snowden said that she was repeating, but there you go. Something to remember there. I think that is a good saying. Even when a centralized system claims to protect you, they don't. You know, Signal's Mac client even stored messages that were set to self-destruct on the system. So if you were to get, you know, I think there was some software available that you could grab the messages that were set to self-destruct from the Signal app. That's kind of huge, right? Yeah, right here they talk about it. Says check your notifications bar. Messages get copied there, and they seem to persist even if they are disappearing messages, which have been deleted or expunged from the app. Oh, the notification. Okay, that makes sense. The notifications, like if you got notifications from people, then those were sticking there as notifications and not going away if they were set to disappear. That makes sense. And I can see how developers might overlook that or allow that to happen, but it's just another example of what's going on, you know, and some things to keep in mind. So some of the things that we're talking about here, and you might be thinking again, about the messengers and how you can actually fix this. Well, you can fix it with open source blockchain messengers using end-to-end encryption. So this is one of the things that came out of consensus for Conceal, that they were going to work on messaging or a messenger. Now what's funny, not funny, but what is important to note is even in their original wallet, they have messaging capabilities, and we've done I did a video on it. You can see right here, this was back in July, and maybe April too, but I did a video on these messages. Now this is just inside of the wallet. I don't know if this was actually available on the web wallet or not. I don't think it was, but the messenger that they are working on is not just this, right? Because this part is already done. They're working on a messenger that's going to be on mobile, it's going to be on web, and I would assume it's going to be in the desktop wallet as well. But that is what they are actually working on. So you can see right here, they talk about the messenger. They got a little screenshot here of it happening, or them using it. The devs here, and you can see right here, they even talk about it. It says, we're aware that we've been silent for a while, but behind the scenes, we're working hard for new features. Encrypted messages are important. And right here, they talk about they're working on it on mobile and the cloud. So good stuff there. And you can see there are some people down here that are not on board with encrypted messaging or a messenger. And look, this was my original thought too. It's like, we don't really need it. But once you start thinking about the decentralization, the encryption, the point-to-point, peer-to-peer, those things kind of change your mind. And whenever you see, stuff like this, you kind of start understanding the significance of a messenger that's decentralized and can't be taken down, and you can't be censored and all that stuff. It's important, So on their Discord, they are clearly working as well. Let me see here. I'll make sure I'm not showing anything crazy. Bring this over here. This is just their Discord here. But you can see, they're committing to GitHub. I haven't looked at their GitHub lately to see like real activity, but I don't think I need to, because I see that they are super busy. I follow all of them, on Twitter, all the devs and everything, and I know that there's stuff going on, so I don't really have to follow them that close. I know that they're working, so yeah, good stuff. So another thing that they did recently, they had a Conceal desktop wallet update, and I did a video on that update as well. So you can check that out if you're curious about their wallet update. Most of the features were just changed on the settings page. There was some background stuff, but most of it was just on the settings page, like what you're seeing here. So that was basically that. They also have a bounty going on right now. I don't think that it's been claimed or working for anybody or working just yet, but the bounty is 11,500 CCX for adding Conceal support for the Ledger Nano S. So that's cool. If you're one of those type of developers that do that kind of thing, you could earn 11,500 CCX. So let's go and find out how much that is. It's been a while since I looked. Oh, we're having a little bit of a pump here, huh? Okay. Yeah, I didn't even look at the market before stream here. Oh, algo's up a lot. Huh? Sorry, I get like instantly distracted here. Oh, it cleared out my watch list. I had this set up before. I did a massive dump. Oh wow, BitMEX down a little bit. I did a massive dump of my profile, like information inside of my profile on my computer, and cleaned up a ton of space. Deleted some old, you know, blockchain downloads for different wallets and stuff. So cleaned up, and so some of my settings, and that was actually what was wrong with my stream early on, is because I cleared out all those settings and cleared out all those folders. Some of those folders dealt with how my OBS, the online broadcasting system, was set up, and the settings for the microphones and stuff like that was all wiped out, and that's why it didn't work initially. So I had to quickly figure that out, and it might be why the cam's not working, although the cam was working earlier, because I did test that part. So I don't know why. Let's see if it's actually working now. No, still not working. All right, so where was I got off track there. We talked about the bounty. Oh, we were gonna see how much it was. So 11,500. Let's do some calculation here. Let's see how CCX is doing. Normally I go through all of them, all the top 10, but I didn't do that tonight for some reason. So they're at 17 cents. So I can't do math in my head very well. So we'll bring up a calculator, maybe. So 11,500. I know this isn't on your screen, just give me a second. Times 17 cents is about $2 grand. So I mean, you know, if you were a developer and you just wanted to enable that feature and then immediately cash out, I mean, it's $2 grand, and I don't know how long something like that would take. I can't imagine it would take really long, although I know it's a little bit more complicated for kryptonite coins and stuff like that. So might be worth it though. $2 grand maybe for a weekend work or something. Weekend's worth of work. You never know. And then also one of the most voted on features of, you know, during the consensus for the community to vote on things, one of the most voted choices was the deposit revamp. And if you're not familiar, CCX, one of their main functions on their project or for their project is to basically be like a certificate of deposit. So you can lock up a certain amount of coins and you would earn interest on them. And in here, well, I say interest, it's an instant thing that happens, and it's all cold staking. So if you were to, like for example here, let's see, I could probably do this, just lock up these 5, I guess. Let's do that. So I'm going to, how many do I have here at all? Yeah, 5, okay. So if you wanted to do a deposit for, we'll do it for a month. And you can see over here, there's like a percentage that's added, right? And the more, obviously, the longer you go, the more it is and stuff like that. Let's just do 3 so I can show you the difference in the wallet. So you can see you earn a little bit of interest. Obviously, the more you put in and the longer you go for, the more interest you would earn. Well, one of the things that I'm going to create this real quick. See, it locks it in a deposit, and you won't have access until maturity, which is 4 weeks from today. All right. So see, now you see how it took those 3 out of the funds right here, and it put it in deposits. Now I can't touch that until the 4 weeks is up. And I earned a little bit of interest on that. We saw that over there whenever we first did it. So it actually added whatever that percentage was, it added to this. So you can see, I mean, it ended up not being a lot because you're only talking about 3. But 8448 was how much interest it actually added in there. Anyway, so that's one of the main features, selling points of the Conceal project. And they are revamping this to where instead of having, I think what they're going to do is they're going to combine these new investment or an investment and deposits, because the investments required 50,000 CCX, which that's quite a good little chunk of change. And because of the way this was set up with investments and deposits, and there's such a disparity between the two, or such a gap between the two, you know, it basically had whales only, you know, whales doing the investment, and all the poor people doing doing the deposit. So they're going to work this out to where I don't know how it's going to work with things that are currently locked up. Like maybe you have to wait until that investment is done, or the deposit period is done, and the funds are unlocked. That's probably how they'll do it. I don't know for sure, but however they do it, they're going to do it right, and you know, trust those guys. So anyway, so they're combining that, and that's what the deposit revamp is about. So look for that. It looks like the middle of November is whenever that might come on board, and they're going to do the network upgrade at the same time. So I would imagine you're going to see a lot of probably by the middle of November, you're going to see a lot of activity from Conceal. If I was to guess here, the way that things are looking and shaping up. And then besides the deposit revamp, you know, I talked a little bit about consensus before that, and this was basically the results. They had 6 things total that they were going to look at, with the first being the deposits revamp, and then the next 5 are things that were most voted on were private browser, fiat gateway, peer-to-peer messenger, which they are working on that already. They probably, you know, they talk about right here, like they have to, it's not going to work to where, you know, consensus community votes on things and then that's exactly what they work on. They have to work on things that, one, they're capable of, and that are that are functional and technologically allowed on their network, right, on the Conceal platform. So some of this stuff takes a little bit of investigation and learning and all that other stuff that goes along with adding something new to a project that wasn't there before. So it looks like they looked into the peer-to-peer messenger and said, okay, this is doable, and that's why you end up with you know, things like this where they're already showing you that they are working on it. So that is a really good sign for a project. They're not dark, they're not silent, they're not, you know, disappearing, and they are staying busy, which is always like to see that. But these are the other 5 things that they're going to look at, and obviously the messenger is the first that they're actually going to look at. And they're probably looking at all this other stuff, although they aren't talking about it or tweeting about it just yet, but that doesn't mean that they aren't investigating. And then this was the original post about, you know, their results here, and you can see how many votes they got and all that stuff. So, and that's why deposits revamp is going to happen sooner, or the soonest, because it was the most voted on. So there you go. Let me close some of this stuff here. Free up some resources. All right, let me check out the chat, see what y'all are talking about. Let's see here. Just trying to catch up with the chat here. Give me a second. Yeah, there might be a Bitcoin Jake. There might be some type of a keyboard shortcut for it. I don't know for sure though, or showing the hidden files. Yeah, Bitcoin Jake, I agree. It's an illusion, you know, that we don't need crypto, but it is it's one of those things that a lot of people would agree that we don't need it at this point, you know. And my point is just that is what leads to a little bit of an adoption blocking. In my opinion, you know, it's just that people just don't need it, you know, or they don't think that they need it. What is up, Dan the Dane? Crazy time zone over there with 3 a.m. Yeah, I like Naomi too. She's cool. Bitcoin Jake. But on that whole thing, you know, Will, with the not needing crypto, I want to clarify, because I don't want you to think that I think that we don't need it. We do need it, but I'm just saying that in general, you know, people are not going to adopt it until they need it, right? And for the most part, they don't. Now, if you start talking to people and explaining crypto versus fiat and the inflation rate, and how, you know, a dollar, what is it, over the last, something that costed $1 when Bitcoin was founded or first released in 2009 now costs like $1.57, I think. I can't remember if Bitcoin Jake would probably know this, because it's probably been in one of his top 10 Reddit entries there, or videos. But basically, I think that's what it said, was basically in 10 years, something that costed $1 then now costs $1.56 or something around in there. And you know, that's some pretty big inflation, you know. And I can remember people saying stuff like, you know, the price of milk. I can remember the price of milk, a gallon of milk being $1, right? And now it's what, $4.50, $4, $3.75, somewhere around in there. I mean, that is a 300% increase. Now, I don't make 300% more dollars in my job. So how is this thing that I have to buy to survive and to live, how is it costing 300% more, but I'm not making 300% more? It's just crazy if you think about it. CBK, what are you talking about there, Dane? The crypto? Yeah, I'm my camera is not working. See, it's dark. And it's just because it's just not working. I think I had a low resources situation, and that's probably why the camera's not working. And it's probably because of all those windows that I had open earlier, so. Yeah, Nervos. Yeah, I've seen some videos on that. I don't know a lot about it, though. Seen a couple of people talking about it. I think Voscoin had a video on it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and it is always dark here because I'm just a dark dude. That's my theme. Alright, so I do not know what else y'all want to talk about. That was pretty much it for me. I mean, I could talk a little bit about, well, you know what? I will talk about this because I want to show y'all something that I talk about this sometimes, and I actually mentioned it earlier on at the top there, where I was saying that sometimes, you know, there are projects that are silent, right? And you don't really know what's going on, and they're just not, they've gone dark, right? As far as social media, Discord, any, you know, Telegram, whatever social medias they use. And Swap was one of them that recently did that. And I mentioned this a while back, where whenever you're dealing with small projects or projects that have just a couple of developers, you know, sometimes things happen. And in this case of Swap, there was, you know, a personal problem, not a problem, but something that happened in the personal life of one of the, I don't know if he's a developer or if I think he is a developer, but he deals with the communications, you know, on the social media side and Discord and all that stuff. And he had a death in the family, and that affected his ability to progress the project. I think they missed a in the month update maybe, but he talks about it in here, and you know, heart goes out to him. I mean, you know, I've lost a lot of family members, and brothers are one of them, and it's tough, you know. But this just highlights me what I said about this before, where whenever you're dealing with small projects, things like this can happen, you know, and it is sometimes a little nerve-wracking whenever you're supporting these projects, you know. But I'm glad to see that they are back. Swap is back at it. It looks like they're going to get back on track. And what I did notice after this Medium post was posted, which was yesterday, they were experiencing a little bit of a good thing here. So probably because of the post, at least a little bit, right? Because if you're a swap investor, if you are investing in them on, you know, exchanges and whatnot and trading them or whatever, you know, and you know that they're missing some, not necessarily like roadmap items, but you know, you hear rumblings of personal issues and things going on, and you've seen some decrease in activity and less communication and all those things that lead you to believe that something is wrong, right? And again, this just happens with small projects. I mean, there's only a few people, so you know, anything can happen. And you know, it's unfortunate when it's internal, like if they're fighting internally, but I don't know of any project that I'm following right now that has that particular type of issue. So yeah, just to highlight the fact that this happens on the smaller projects. And yeah, so they are doing pretty well today. And if you go to What to Mine and you look up NVIDIA, you know, my rigs anyway, or my rig here, it's actually towards the top, you know, and it was actually higher than this. It was at 85 cents after electric, and it was number 1 earlier. And man, I tell you, it makes me feel so good to see all these projects that I've covered like recently. It's really cool to see that, like they end up being, you know, at the top of What to Mine. It's kind of cool. Brings a smile to my face. So yeah, Swap is one of them. But yeah, so let's check them out on Trade Ogre over here. Yeah, they're up 17% in the past day over there. So yeah, looking good. Can't really see that, but this is Swap. Can't see that one, graphic up there, but Shuby. So did what I sent you some stuff in Discord, did that not, was it Discord? Yeah, did that not help you out? Was I not accurate? Let me know. But back to what I was saying, I think that Swap is back on track, and that is a good thing. So yeah, I saw this post, and then I actually went to check them on CoinMarketCap, and I'm like, oh my gosh, awesome, you know. And I think that they were up like 50-something%. Yeah, see, they spiked right here all the way up to 15 cents, which would be, that would be 100%. But I don't, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I don't trust. I have trouble trusting CoinMarketCap, especially with small projects like this, because I mean, like they show $405,000 volume on a $500,000 market cap. I feel like that's not right. Shuby, yeah, I didn't try that string on mine. If you could send me, let's see, this is Ethereum Classic, so I have an address for that. I'll play around with it and see if I can figure it out. I'm not, I'm not real up on Ethash algo mining, but we can probably play around with it. Actually, we could do it right now, I guess. Let me see. So you were on Nano Pool, right? Let's see if we can figure this out for you. Oh man, Dan the Dane, yeah, you're hitting it, man. I strongly believe, I agree 100% that stable coins are an important part of crypto. There is no doubt. And I talked about that quite a bit on this channel with how that would work. There's several projects that I follow, like BitCash, that are implementing those types of features. Haven Protocol is another one that seems to be doing pretty well. Actually, Shuby, I was going to mention that you were using 11.9 and they're all the way up to like 15 something. So I could imagine that the pool itself might actually require the newer version, depending on what they have implemented. Because sometimes those minor versions can change, the pool communications and how things are going back and forth between your miner and the pool, and sometimes they require the later versions. So I did notice that you were using 11.9 and they're up to like 15 something. So I was going to mention that as well. But yeah, so like back to the stablecoin thing, I think some people, have this thing about stablecoins, but the stablecoins I'm talking about would mainly be the ones that are on chain alongside of another crypto, right? Like in the case of BitCash. BitCash is a solid project, super low market cap, but I do think that they are on the right path here with how they're doing things. And I actually did a video on BitCash Dollar the other day right here. And it was kind of funny though, because I was calling it BitCash Stable. I don't know, I guess I was tired or something. But the whole first part of the video, I was talking about BitCash Stable. Basically the same thing. BitCash Dollar is what they call it though. So, I wanted to fix it. But yeah, they are a solid project, super low market cap. I don't remember where they're at right now, but I think that they are 300,000 or something, which is, yeah, 361. Way low market cap. But look at the volume. See, the volume that looks real to me, right? Compare that to Swap, and I think that there's some funny stuff going on with Swap because of the markets that they're on. See, BitCash is only on Stex and CryptoBridge. There might be some other small ones that they're on, but these are the only two that are tracked by CoinMarketCap that they're on. And if you go to Swap, oh, they're pumping again. Okay, that's good. And you go to markets, they're on a few, but this one right here is the one that bothers me, this BKEX. I mean, look at that volume. That's almost as much as their market cap, which I don't think so. But I don't know. I'm not a market, trading expert or anything, but this just looks kind of fishy to me. I'll just leave it at that. All right. So yeah, let me know, Shuby, if that works or not. If using the latest miner, because yeah, I did notice that. Let's go over here to add group. Go to Claymore ETH. Yeah, so you were using 11.9, which is this one, and they're up to 15. So that's a pretty big jump, I would imagine. And then I'm looking at the info over here, so it just seems like there was a huge change between 12 and 14.6. So I would imagine that could probably be the case. what are you trying to change? What file are you trying to change? What are you trying to do? I can go through this real quick, I guess. How to change what my rig is running. Well, I mean, whenever you do this, oh, you mean like assigning it to the rig? Okay. Yeah, they've changed a little bit. Let's go through it. I'll just go through it real quick. So I'm going to choose the latest one though. All right, so we're going to go use here. We'll say, was it ETC, YouTube, Shuby. All right. So we're going to go to Nanopool, Ethereum Classic. I'm going to go to Quick Start, Start Mining, so I can get my info. I'm going to grab this as the pool. We'll leave most of this default. I'm just going to try to do this as simple as possible here. I don't know, do I need, what do I'm not too familiar with Nanopool. I don't think I need a count or anything, right? It's just going to show up. Go to stats. Okay, so over here I could put the address and I'll be able to see. Alright, so that's cool. So that's the pool, the port. Did I get the pool and the port in here? No. Alright, so needs to look like that. All these spaces and stuff are important too. So now I need an Ethereum Classic. Dan, just watch what I'm doing here and make sure I don't make any mistakes because I'm trying to help Shuby out here. Alright, so I need an Ethereum Classic address. Let's see here. Give me a second. Gotta go get an address here. If I can find one. All right. So I'm getting an address here. Now, Shuby, you had some other stuff on the end of your address, and it looked like, I don't know if that is, those characters are allowed, and it could be something you might want to look at. You might want to just go all the way back to basic. Don't try to add in a bunch of crazy configs and update, you know, different parameters and stuff. Kind of start with the base, you know, default info like this right here. I would assume that this is going to work. But I'm going to click Add Group. In a moment. I was trying to remember what you had added in there, but it just didn't, it kind of stood out and didn't look exactly right to me. But again, I don't do a lot of ETC mining at all, so All right, so I'm going to click add group here. There's my group. Actually, I did have an ETC one that worked up here, so apparently, yeah, I left pretty much everything the same. But that was for EtherMine. So let's see if this works for Nanopool. All right, so we go to rig list. Then you want to choose the rig that you want to assign it to. So put a check mark in there. And then actions. And then group config, I think, right? And then you want to choose the group that you just created. In this case, it's YouTube Shubi. And then we'll do a reload. Don't necessarily have to do a reboot. Although I think, I want to say I recently, let's do a reboot on this because it's going to have to download the miner. I'll try a reload, but it's going to have to go and get the miner, I think, because this is a fresh install of Simple Mining. So there you go, it's rebooting, or reloading the miner anyway. Yeah, right there it says no miner in local disk cache downloading. So it's grabbing the miner. Play more. All right, it looks like it is hashing, so I would say, I mean, we want to see accepted share somewhere eventually. All right, there we go. So accepted shares. So you saw what I did. So hopefully that is good enough for you to get yours up and running. The only other change I would say is, you know, if you wanted to give it the rig name, you know, you can do that pretty easily. Where is it? Oh yeah. So let's go edit here, our miner programs, and then you can add to the end of your address, you add dot, $, lowercase rig, capital N, AME, and then that's a variable for, it'll provide the rig name to the pool so that you can identify which one is doing what. And then save that. That's going to relaunch the miner, I think. Maybe not. Yeah, it did. So it's reloading the miner because of that little change there. Now if I go to Nanopool, I should be able to throw this address in here. See some info. But not found yet. Okay. One share. So I thought I did that already, but I don't know if maybe... I think I did that right, didn't I? I don't know how long this takes. It says you only need to find one share, but we already did that. That address. That's interesting. Maybe I'm not searching the right way or something here. So the name comes from right here in Simple Mining. So whatever you name the rig right here, see where it says name right here. So whatever this name is, and in order to change that, you just click on it, and I think you just click on it and rename it there. There might be a way of doing it inside of here. I don't know. Let's see here. Overclocking, yeah, you just have to click. I'm not going to do it because it would expose some stuff. So you would just click on the name right here, the link, and that's where you would actually change it. Well, this is just a operating system from a USB that it boots up off of a USB. In my case, you could use a SSD with just the Simple Mining OS on it. It's not really like true headless because you're using a disk, but you know, it's pretty. Yeah, what you're looking at here is just the interface. Like the rig boots up and talks to the Simple Mining website for your account, and then that's how the stuff shows up in here. Oh, good to hear that, Shuby. That's awesome. Yeah, sometimes you have to watch the older miners, especially whenever it's a huge jump like that. It went from 11.9 to 14, I think. That was pretty huge. That usually indicates a lot of change. Yes, Simple Mining, Dan, Simple Mining is pretty cool. I used it originally, and the reason that I still use it now is just because these rigs that are on here are co-owned. They're shared. I don't own them outright. That's one reason. The other reason is so that I can do stuff like this and easily show the difference, you know. So it's like an increase in the amount of content that I can put out because I can reference Simple Mining or I can reference HiveOS. I kind of prefer, for home mining and hobby mining, I kind of prefer Hive OS at this point. But simple mining is great too. They're both great in my book, but you know, they both have pluses and minuses. But I like them both. Yeah, Hive OS. I like Hive OS as well. Okay, so it actually did finally register the share. So I've already switched it back to what it was supposed to be mining, back to Conceal. But you can see right here that it did actually start talking. And you can see down here, Dan, where it grabbed the name with that variable. It grabbed the name and put it in here. And then this one down here was with no name, right? So because the first time I did it, I didn't have that rig name variable after the address. So that's where it registered just this X down here. So this little bit was for before I gave it the variable, and this is after. So that's what that's all about. And if you mean headless like just booting off of like a PXE, like booting off of a network, like a network attached storage, or however you want to actually have the OS, I think that Hive OS and I don't know about simple mining. I think both of them have that capability now. I don't mess around with that. I probably should play around with it and see if I could get it to work. I want to say that Crypto Mikkel did a video on that. Let's go and find out. I want to say that he did. Let's see. Okay, you're talking about no mouse, no monitor. Yeah, they all. Hive OS is like that too. You can get to, I mean, this is a web interface. You don't have to have a mouse or monitor on it. Yep, that's true. RJ45, that's it. Yep, that's all I have on mine. I don't have monitors or mice or anything like that on them. Once you get them set up, I mean, initially you have to, yes, but you know, to get them, well, actually you don't. The rigs, these two rigs right here, I haven't plugged a monitor in a really long time to either one of these, and I've updated both of them, Hive or Simple Mining, the version on both of them. So yeah, like let's say you built a brand new rig and you need to go into BIOS on the motherboard, you know, to set it up to where you know, it boots off of USB only, or however, you know, all those other mining type you know, settings like power on after power loss and stuff like that. Yes, you would need a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse for that, or at least a monitor and keyboard. Yeah, to configure the BIOS and stuff like that. But once all that's done, and unless your battery dies on the BIOS, I mean, you should be good to go. But after that, it's clear. You don't have to have none of my rigs have a monitor attached to them at all. Neither one of these and neither one of these. Everything's done from here. I mean, occasionally you have to, like, I'll give you an example. This one, last week, Mustafar here was giving me all kinds of problems, and I actually did have to take a monitor out to the garage and plug it in and see what it was doing. And it was exactly what I thought. It had lost its BIOS config and was trying to boot off of a hard drive, and it wasn't aware that there was a USB drive even plugged in. So I had to go into the BIOS and configure it to boot off of USB and all that stuff. So yeah, they're definitely headless in that respect. Yeah, I thought you were talking about like booting up to like a network and not even having a USB or a SSD or anything in there. I know he did a video on it. I'm pretty sure he did somewhere in here. Alright, maybe not. Oh, for sure he did though. Alright, Shuby. I am definitely drinking my Fireball and tea here. Yeah, so Dane, what he is referring to is whenever you install Simple Mining, or if you want to use Simple Mining on your rig, I have videos on it right here, like how to install Simple Mining operating system, and it goes through that. And what he's referring to is the, let's see here. Let's get in the image. Just kind of zipping through this here. Yeah, like they're on the disk. So once you burn the Simple Mining OS image to a USB or an SSD, you're going to have two drives. You're going to have one that you can read. Actually, this one was USB. Yeah. So they're both. Yeah. One of the partitions on the drive that you, after you burn Simple Mining to it, will be readable in Windows, and you go into this config.txt file, and you have to edit it, right? And all you do now. This is after you have created a SimpleMining.net account, and you've given an email address that you use to log on to SimpleMining.net. So once you establish that, then you can go through this process and burn Simple Mining to a disk or a USB, and then you come in here and you change that to your email address, right? So that the same email address that you use on SimpleMining.net, you save it, you eject the USB or the SSD, whichever you're using, from there, all right, from the computer, and then take it to your rig and plug it in and boot off of it, and that's it. And that's all there is to it. It's pretty simple. But this video goes through it. This one's not that long. It's not one of my marathon videos. It's only 18 minutes. So this is one of the it's an older video, but it's still applicable. I mean, it's still good. So check that out. I'll put that over in the chat there. You can definitely use a SSD, and it's actually, my opinion, it's better to use an SSD especially if you're using cheap USBs like me, because I run into all these weird problems with mine. Like it seems like they get corrupted a lot, and it all depends on what it can depend on what you are actually mining and how the miner program that you're running uses the space available to it. And what I mean is, you know, if you depending on the miner, it might need to write often and read and write to the drive often. And if that's the case, then a USB is going to be kind of slow, right? And it will be susceptible to corruption and all that stuff that goes on with like a constant reading and writing. And then also heat plays a factor also. So if your rig runs hot, you know, then that can affect the USB, especially if it's cheap. So it's definitely recommended, especially with the cost of SSDs today, to use an SSD. You'll thank me for it in the long run, and thank Shuby for it in the long run. If you can get even a cheap SSD should be fine, and it'll actually work on a regular old platter hard drive too. Although that's, you know, it's going to consume a little bit more power and be a little bit slower than an SSD, but you could do that as well. Yep, good stuff. Yeah. So wow, what time is it? 11:02. I did get a late start though, but this looks like this particular stream has been going an hour and a half. Pretty long time. I'm actually 2 Fireball and Teas in, and I'm not even really feeling it. Well, Dan, it's something I struggle with, is allowing you guys to do something for me. I do have a few like crypto addresses in the description. I don't need anything. I don't need you know, donations or anything like that. Shuby's done some things for me. He's donated some ETC over the year here, and I don't even have. This is one of the things that I don't like about YouTube, and it's part of the problem of the channel growth, I believe, because I have not even enabled. I'm over 1,000 subs, but I have not even enabled Super Chat. And the reason that I haven't enabled Super Chat is because they take 30%. And I don't like that. I think that is too much. And not only is it too much in my opinion, and by they I mean YouTube, right? So if you were to Super Chat me $10, then I only get 7 and they get 3. Now that's a small example, although $7 tip to me is pretty good. But point being is that it's a lot. 30% is a lot, and they don't tell you, right? So whenever you're doing that super chat, I don't think that there's anywhere in there that says, hey, by the way, the recipient of this super chat is only going to get 70% of whatever you donate. And I'll give you another really good example. There was a fundraiser that did some type of event on a YouTube live stream. I can't remember what it was or what the goal was, but I remember them basically having, I want to say that they raised something like $10,000 for some charity or something. And they were under the impression that was their goal, right? Was 10,000. I think that was the situation. So they had like a goal of 10,000 or whatever it was. And they met their goal, or they thought they met their goal of 10,000. And I want to say that they might have even cut a check to the charity for 10,000, and come to find out that they only got to keep 7,000. So they basically paid 3,000 to the charity out of their own pocket, and they didn't even know that that was going to have to happen, right? So you can see how that is, that's a problem, right? If you can go that far into something and not know that 30% is going to be taken off the top, then there's a problem with how, in my opinion, there's a problem with how YouTube is, putting the information out there with how super chats are managed. Anyway, I can get on a total rant about that. And but again, it probably has something to do with my channel growth not being as much as it is. I mean, I've been at this for more than a year, and I'm only just now over 1,200 subscribers, which I'm fine with, because the smaller the group, it's like a little family, right? It's like just a small group of people. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with it. And I like doing videos. I like talking about stuff. I like chatting, and I like drinking Fireball on Fridays, and it's just my thing, right? So, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Don't feel like you need to donate. Although I get it, because I mean, I'm the same way. I want to support people that have helped me, or people that I'm interested in. That I do that myself. But it's tough. But yeah, I do have some addresses in the description of the videos. Several. But again, don't feel obligated in any way. I'm good with how things are right now. So don't have a problem with that at all. And yeah, because of the subscriber count, and I have some projects that I like to talk about, and there for a while there were a few people that were saying that I was sponsored by them and stuff. I'm not. I mean, good grief. Why would they even bother sponsoring a channel that has 1,200 subscribers? It's kind of crazy. So I like, are you asking which ones I like? Well, let me show you. Let me show you which ones I'm sponsored by. I'm just kidding. Basically, this is my top 10 if you haven't seen it in a while. These are the projects that interest me and that I'm interested in. Again, this is not the only ones, right? This is just the ones that I want to talk about on the channel, or that I do videos on. Of course I have Ethereum. Of course I hold BTC, Bitcoin, all that stuff. There's quite a few other ones that I hold besides these. Now I can tell you bag size anyway, I would say that CCX is up there pretty high. I've got a pretty big bag of CCX. I got a pretty big bag of Raven. Not a whole lot of swap. I have quite a bit, but not a whole lot. I've got some Rio. Really small bag of LOKI. I really probably should have more of LOKI because I think that they're going to do great things with their messenger. They're actually another project that's working on a messenger along with CCX. Zelle Cash, and actually I need to change that because they're actually just Zelle now. They are incredibly awesome if you haven't checked them out. Veil, I don't follow Veil a whole lot. But they are a privacy coin that is on my list. Arrow is a brand new project that is not on any exchanges or anything like that. It is, I think they started in July, mainnet. So they are super small, not on exchanges. You would have, if you wanted to buy them, you would have to go over the counter, OTC or something, Discord, through an intermediary or something like that if you wanted to purchase some of that. And Bitcash, solid project, super micro cap, we talked about that earlier, and then AION. And if I was going to put these in order, it would probably look like literally in order of how I felt about the project or how confident I was in the project. It would probably look something like Conceal, AION, probably Raven, Rio, LOKI, Swap. Oh wait, I forgot Zelle. Zelle would be up there too. So it would probably be something like CCX, Raven Coin, Zelle, Swap, Rio. I'm forgetting AION too. Good grief. Did I say AION for? Hang on, let's do this. I'm gonna mess this all up. Let me hang on a second. Let me get this right. If I was gonna put them in some type of order here. It would be CCX, AION, Raven, LOKI, Zelle, Swap, Rio, Bitcash. Yeah, and then Veil Arrow. I think we're the only two left. So that's kind of the order it would be if I was to actually do it that way. Let me fix it over here real quick. I'm going to let's see if I can fix it really quick. Put them in some type of a legitimate order here, because the way that they were listed there, that's not really totally accurate or anything. So what did I say? CCX, AION, Raven. See, it's hard to do like 10 projects and keep them all in order here. LOKI. Once I fix this, I'll get it back over there on the right. Just give me a second. Oh, longer than a second. It'll take me a minute. So CCX, AION, Raven, LOKI, Zell. Swap, Rio. All right, almost done. Let me just change the numbers and then I'll get it over there. Okay. And actually, LOKI is going to actually have to come off of this list as a GPU mineable, although it'll still be CPU, so I guess I can leave it on there. Or actually, no, they're not, that's right, okay, I said CPU. They are currently CPU only because they are on random, what do they call it? It's Random X, but it's LOKI's version of it. And they are going to proof of stake. So eventually LOKI is going to have to come off the list. Alright, let me see if I can get this over there. Alright, new list. There we go. I think I did it right. So this is more in line with the way I feel about the project. You know, my gut feeling about the project and which ones are more important than the other ones. Not more important, but, you know, ones I'm more confident in. What's up, Red Panda? Yeah, there's been a lot of Nervos hype, that is for sure. I want to say that even Bosscoin did a video on it. Yeah, Red Panda, I talked about this the other day on a stream, and I was saying, you know, like, with the profits and how things are going with mining and GPU mining and CPU mining, it's clearly it's a rough patch of time with regard to profits and stuff like that. And, you know, is any of this ever going to come back and get anywhere near to, yeah, I must have, sorry. I must have missed a lot of chat here while I was, let's see here, sorry. Yeah, 1 BTC would be nice. Yeah, sorry my camera's not working. No, AION, AION's not at the bottom anymore, obviously, but yeah, again, that list previously wasn't really about how I felt about the project. It was just how they ended up on the list as I was putting it together. That's all. Don't go all in on CCX, for crying out loud. I just like it. I like the devs. I talk to them, you know, and they're good. They're good people. So yeah, I'll get my camera fixed and we'll figure it out. I'll get it figured out. I think that it just, whenever I launched it this time, I had so many windows and things open that it probably just didn't have the resources to start. Streamlabs OBS is like kind of resource intensive, especially for this old computer that I have here. So yeah, I think it was like, nope, I'm not going to be able to do any video right now. So yeah, so back to what I was saying. Sorry, I got a little off topic there. I was talking about the 2017, early 2018, and how, you know, I've talked about this a bunch on the channel, how you could just fire up a rig, put it on Ethereum, and make $30 a day pretty easily, right? Without even, you know, without even breaking a sweat, you could do that. And I don't see that scenario happening for any current mined project. I think that what we are going to have to see that is going to be even remotely close to that would have to be something new, right? Something that is not currently out there, because I don't know, that's just the way I feel. I could be completely wrong, and I haven't been doing this that long, so you know, this is not, I'm not speaking from like a ton of experience here, but it just seems like the community, the sentiment, everything that's going on right now. I mean, I've sat here and watched, I'll give you a good example, and Shuby's in here right now, and he can definitely attest to this, and confirm this. But whenever I first started mining Ethereum Classic back last year, whenever I did mine it, which I haven't mined it in a long time, like I said earlier, but if you went to what to mine and you plugged in 8 RX 580s like this, even at 11 cents per kilowatt hour, and you hit calculate, this number right here for profitability after electric was like $10 to $12 a day. And are you telling me that we're going to go from 30 cents a day back to $10 a day? I don't think so. I think it's going to have to be a new project. I just don't see how. I just don't. I don't know. I can't really explain it other than that. Yeah, and Red Panda, I'm right there with you, man. I am right there with you. It is draining, and you can see it in my content, you know, and how often I'm streaming nowadays, because I'm you know, I kind of alluded to that earlier at the top of the video, but I'm struggling, you know. That's why I think, I don't know, I mean, picking some projects to talk about, I think, is a good way for me to go. You know, things that I'm still interested in. But as far as like straight up mining stuff, it's tough, really tough. And you're right, it boils down to that electric price. I mean, if you can pay, you know, if you were paying 6 cents per kilowatt hour, let's just do that, and you can see it is like a drastic difference here. Pretty drastic, not that drastic, but yeah. So yeah, that power cost, and you know, even, I mean, look, let's just look at it like this. All right, let's look at it in reality here. Like I said, last year, you know, this number down here was $10. This number up here was 20 or whatever it was. You know, even with zero electric costs, you're still only looking at $3 a day for Ethereum Classic on an 8 GPU rig. Now I know that that's an RX 580. Let's go ahead and let's do something newer. So let's go, let's try 8 Radeon 7s, even though that is a huge cost, right? So if you're talking about break even point, it's years. And if you saw, I want to say that Voscoin's video today, I don't know if it was today or it might have been yesterday, I can't remember, but he mentioned this, and he's right. You know, he was talking about he even said, you know, he said that bad word, the ROI thing, but he mentioned break even point, and that's true, because and this is one of my pet peeves of the whole crypto space and mining. I hate when people say ROI whenever they mean break even point, right? ROI is something that you earn from an investment, like during a time period, right? So like, let's say you paid $300 for a GPU, you mine with it, and you make, let's say that you make $10 that month with that $300. Let's say you make $30 that month with that $300 GPU, then that is a 10% ROI. That's how that works, right? So that's the formula. Whenever people say ROI in the crypto space, the crypto mining space specifically, what they really mean is break-even point. When am I going to earn back what I have invested? That is a break-even point, not an ROI. Anyway, y'all are going to get me on a whole rant over that whole thing. So anyway, yeah, it's not ROI. ROI is what you earn given a time frame. Anyway, so but yeah, Voscoin in his video, he mentioned that, and how it, you know, used to, a year ago we were talking 2 months, 5 months, 6 months break-even points, right? And now it's years, man. He, in his video for his 2060, he did a video on 2060s, I think. Let me see here. I want to say it was today. It might have been today. No, it was 2 days ago. Okay, so I just watched it today. So his 2060 super GPU, best GPU for mining, and even mining the most profitable thing, I think in his video here, is it showed a 4-year break-even point. Yeah, Dan, if you have your own electricity like that, then you're good. It doesn't even matter what you're mining, man. You can mine whatever and be profitable, right? Yeah, that's sick. I wish, yeah, you know, I wish I could get into that stuff, but where I live, they wouldn't let me do solar right here in this neighborhood. And they definitely wouldn't let me put up a wind turbine. That would be awesome. Oh, right on, Billy B. Yeah, you know, I wanted to come up with some type of a formula for, I was going to work on like a spreadsheet or something and work it out to where I could basically lay out, I I would like to be able to point out whether or not it is worth it to mine a crypto even at a loss, right? Even if it's a little bit of a loss per month, as long as that loss doesn't go over a certain amount of effort. In other words, like if it takes you more, is the loss enough to cover the cost of time and effort it would take for you to transfer money from fiat to crypto, get it on an exchange, and buy the shitcoin that you want to buy that you're mining, right? And I say that with, that's a term of endearment, not a negative. Whenever I say shitcoin, so anything other than Bitcoin is a shitcoin, right? So, so is it worth it from a time and effort standpoint to go through that, or is it better for you to just go ahead and mine it at a loss? And right now, I'm just mining things at a loss. I'm mining CCX at a loss. I'm probably mining AION at a loss, I would imagine, right now. AION's being crushed. I don't know what they're doing today, but, they're up a little bit, 8 cents. So, yeah, so is it worth it to do that, or would it be better to just turn the rig off and put that money into the crypto directly, right? It's something that you need to think about as we're going through this bad time for mining. I mean, is it really worth it? As long as you can, then there's also the whole hobby aspect of it too. Like, does it bring you joy, right? Is it something that you enjoy doing, even though you're technically mining at a loss? Because if you could buy the crypto for less than you're paying in electric, then, did I say that right? If buying the crypto is less than what you're paying in electric. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm one too many fireballs in here, but point being is that would you acquire more of the crypto that you're trying to mine if you just bought it, right? That's what I'm trying to say, and whether or not it would make sense to just do it that way and not mine, right? So a lot of people just enjoy the mining aspect of it. I enjoy, it's almost, and I've mentioned this before, it's almost altruistic at this point, especially for like CCX and even AION, even most of the projects that are on this list here. I mean, they're not super profitable, right? So if you are mining one of these projects, you're basically doing it at a loss or very little profit, very little, right? So once you take into account your time and effort, you just need to calculate all those things, and if you can justify it in your mind, then by all means go ahead, man. Keep on rocking. That's what I'm doing. I like CCX. I'm mining CCX still, even though it's basically costing me $140 a month to mine it, electric wise. And probably maybe if I was to transfer that crypto to fiat and cash out, I would probably, at this point, I think last month we would have made about half of that back, like $35 each, something like that. So it's basically at this point, it's costing about $70 a month for these two rigs right here, to mine CCX. If I'm doing my math right, about $70 a month is what we're making, or not making, but it's costing $70 a month. Yeah, I might downsize a little bit, or flip some of my older GPUs into less but newer GPUs, right? It's something you gotta kind of look at and calculate out to see if it makes sense. and also a little bit of it has to do with planning. Used to, you want to get a GPU that is going to support a project that you're wanting to mine, right? Used to, a lot of people would just buy AMD and mine Ethereum or Ethereum Classic and then flip that into whatever crypto, because they were the most profitable, and then they would flip those into whatever crypto projects they wanted to support, that they thought were going to moon or whatever, right? So that's what a lot of people do. At this point, it's almost makes more sense just to mine whatever the project is directly, if it's on this list anyway. But yeah, even still, you still have Ethereum and Ethereum Classic at the top. I don't know if y'all remember, but last year, Ethereum was they were way down here. There were a lot of projects that were above Ethereum. And now it just seems like Ethereum and Ethereum Classic's just taking back over. Yeah, Red Panda, from what I've seen on your videos, it seems like you might do what I was talking about just a second ago, where you mine Ethereum Classic or Ethereum and then flip it to something else, maybe. You might be just holding on to the Ethereum itself. And I'm still working on other stuff, content and whatnot. I've got, the whole studio man cave upgrade stuff going on. I just, working full time, it's just tough. It goes a little bit slower than I would like it to. But I'll get you guys some videos of that as well. Wiring and all that junk. Yeah, exactly, Dan. That's kind of what I was saying, is like, if you want to support a project with your hash power, and even if you're doing it at a loss in the hopes of, maybe in the future everything is going to be great, it's going to increase in value drastically, then fine. It's I've mentioned this before. It's basically like you're doing the project a favor, at this point. And that's kind of how I feel with most everything that I mine, because, unless you're mining with my hardware, unless you're mining Ethereum class, let's see here, hang on. So my hardware for this particular Dagobah rig is 8 580s. So if you were mining this at my cost, electric cost here, then, pretty much, if you're not mining BitTube, Haven, or Ethereum Classic, I'm not profitable, right? So if I was down here, and I am, let's see, so where is CCX? So right here, I'm basically losing 66 cents a day right now, mining the way I'm mining. So in my mind, I have to say, okay, do I like this project enough to continue mining at a loss? But if this was like up to, I would probably go $30 a month at a loss here, which is basically where I'm at, because this seems a little low. I think I'm actually more, I'm probably closer to $1 here, or at least I was last month. So, maybe up to $1.25, $1.50 would probably be my cutoff point. If I'm that unprofitable, then I would just start buying the crypto and turn the rigs off, or at least not mine CCX, mine something else. Wow, 32 cents per kilowatt hour? Or per, yeah, wow. Wow, that's, oh my gosh, that's a lot. So if I was there and mining Ethereum Classic or Ethereum, yeah, I would be losing $5 a day. No, thank you. Yeah, that's insane. That is a lot of power cost, man. I can definitely see how why you're on wind and solar. That's for sure. Good grief. Yeah, those are good numbers, Jason. Yeah, here in the U.S., it doesn't make a lot of difference. The distance from the power plant doesn't make a whole lot of difference. I think it has something to do with it, but not a lot. The way the power grid is set up and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, take a look at CCX, man. I mean, I like it. I like, check out their Discord, get in there and poke around a little bit. I like it. Privacy coin, good development, good developers. They're active. They got a pretty good following and stuff. The only thing is, Red Panda, is if you do like a if you do a video on it, the profits are going to go down because there'll be more miners on it with your almost 10,000 followers now, or subscribers. Congratulations, by the way. Yeah, there were a few months there, Jason, that, man, I was getting a lot of rewards for CCX. I mean, it was a lot more than now, that's for sure. I haven't even really looked to see how their hash rate is spread out or anything recently. I've just been mining them with blinders on, man. I haven't even really kept up with the hash rate or anything. Most of their is on hero miners. A little bit is on their official pool. Oh, I wouldn't say that, Red Panda. I think you could move people to a coin, for sure. Is there a way to get, if you think that you have sub bots, is there a way to get YouTube involved? I know that every so often they do a purge, but I don't know when the last one that they've done. Like they'll eventually get rid of all the known fake subscribers and stuff. The last time that they did that, though, I think it was like a year ago. Yeah, any of these little projects. Again, I hate to keep reiterating this, but I mean anything can happen with them. You saw what I was showing y'all about Swap and how it was something in their personal lives that was causing them a little bit of a hang up. So you just have to be careful. That's why it's tough to stay on top of them. Like what is going on. But I'm in all the Discords for each project. I kind of keep an eye on what's going on, and I think that probably Discord is probably the best place. Some of them are more active in Telegram. If you go, I think that CCX is that way. I want to say that their main social media is Telegram. I think. I don't know about Swap. Seems like they're more on Discord, but I could be wrong. And not all of the developers are on all of the different social medias either. Like some of them are on Telegram but not Discord, or Twitter but not anything else, right? So it just depends. So you just got to follow them on all of the social media to kind of keep up with what's going on. Yeah, I'm not real active on my particular Discord. I'm just not over here. But I mean, I will if I see. Yeah, I see Dane's in there now. I see that. I'll come in here from time to time and check to see if anybody's talking about stuff. But yeah, I'm not in here a lot. Red Panda's got a huge community over here on his. So I would say that I would point, if you wanted like support on things and like help with stuff, I would say check this out, because over here is a lot better. Or maybe even like selling stuff or whatever. He's got a huge community. Mine is not so much. It's kind of a freaking ghost town over here. Oh, wow. I just read what you were saying there, Red Panda, about your giveaway yesterday. Yeah, see, you've got a little bit of help though, right, Red Panda? I mean, you got some people that help you out with this stuff. I don't have any help. I'm all lonely and stuff over here in my channel. So yeah, I'm not real. Discord was created for a different purpose than what a lot of people use it for, and it's kind of geared around that. The whole gaming thing, and I mean, it works, but you can see like a project like AION. AION is there's hardly anything going on over here either. I mean, one of their last posts was in June. As far as an announcement goes. So I think that they've almost abandoned it. I mean, I guess you could maybe still get help over here. There's lots of days that go by that no one comments or anything. So, but I'm sure that, like, Yashnik's active in here, so I'm sure that if you were to start talking in here for like support on AION, then someone would get with you. But I mean, you can see it's just not very active. And AION's a big project, you know. Conceal, they're pretty active in their Discord. Yeah, I like Twitter a little bit. I try to stay active over there, but not too bad. Dan, what are you asking? NVIDIA Team Green? Is that in my Discord or something? Yeah, I mean, I started this so long ago. I didn't even know. I didn't know what I was doing. I probably need to get in here and clean this up a little bit. I still don't know what I'm doing. See, I think that there is a... Yeah, there's a link in my description too down there. Yeah, I think you should be able to just click on that link and then join that server. I thought you were in there. I mean, it says right here, Dan the Dane. So now you should see, yeah, it's kind of hidden from view here, but it looks like this. So Red Panda, today I was actually, what was I doing? I was looking at some stuff. I want to say I was looking at one of your videos, and I saw a link to your Amazon store, and I have a Red Panda Mining t-shirt in my shopping cart right now. I haven't bought it yet though, but it's in my cart. Okay, so get the Heather one. Yeah, that's not the one that I put in there. I just put the, yeah, I think it was just a regular t-shirt, I think. I'll check it out. All right, Shuby. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here too, man. It's been long enough. It's been 2.5 hours almost, I think. Yeah, I think Red Panda's like 24 or something like that. Yeah, I need to get some shirts too. Maybe I'll talk to Red Panda about that and see. I think you just do it through Teespring. All right, I think that is going to do it for me, guys. See if I can get out of here. Yeah, Amazon merch. Yeah, that's right. It was definitely Amazon. Yeah, see, I should be able to switch over to my camera now, but that's not gonna work. That sucks. Normally, I like to put my face on there to say goodbye and everything. Yeah, no problem, Dan. Thanks for tuning in, man. I like to see new subscribers in here from time to time. Add to the family a little bit. Yeah, I'm positive, man. Don't worry. I'm positive. It's just you know, like you said, it's discerning a little bit. Yeah, hit the like and all that stuff on the way out, and I appreciate it, guys. I will see you next time, probably Monday. What's today? Friday? Is today Friday? Yeah, Fireball Friday. Come on, man. Forgetting what day it is and stuff. Yeah, I'll see you guys on Monday. I will talk to y'all later. Red Panda, are you doing a video premiere tomorrow? If you are, make sure that everybody, y'all check that out. I think he does it at noon, I think. Something like that. I don't think you've got it posted already, but... Alright, so I will see you guys next time.